The first time the letter arrived, it almost felt like a joke. A pale envelope with the Homeowners Association's logo sat in the family's mailbox, neatly typed and vaguely threatening. It cited a supposed violation, lawn length exceeding HOA standards, though the grass had been trimmed just days earlier. The homeowner brushed it off as a misunderstanding, paid a small administrative fee and carried on. But within 2 weeks another letter came. This one accused them of parking their car too close to the curb, a detail so trivial it bordered on absurdity. Behind these letters was Karen, the neighbor next door. From the moment the family moved in, Karen had been watching, eyes peeking through blinds like a hawk circling prey. She seemed to know their routines, their deliveries, their guests, and even the days they took out their trash. With each passing week, another violation arrived. Noise after 9 p.m., though the house had been quiet. Improper storage of garden tools, though they were tucked away neatly. Even a supposed failure to maintain the mailbox's color, despite the paint being unchanged. The homeowner began to notice Karen's patterns. Every time a violation letter arrived, Karen's curtains fluttered open, and a faint smirk could be seen on her face. It was as though she fed off the HOA's attention, wielding its power like a weapon to punish perceived slights. Soon the pattern was undeniable. Karen filed complaint after complaint. Her phone calls to the HOA were frequent and furious, describing invented scenarios and violations. The homeowner's once pleasant routine began to feel like a minefield. The pressure from the HOA mounted. Fines increased. Threats of additional penalties arrived. The homeowner's weekends were consumed with compliance tasks, mowing grass again, repainting small sections of trim, double-checking car positions, and photographing everything for evidence. But no matter how perfect the home became, another complaint appeared the next week. It became clear that compliance was not the goal. Karen wanted control, and she was using the HOA to exert it. Amid the frustration, the homeowner began to research Karen herself. She always seemed to be at home during the day, though she claimed to run a business. She drove a car that never bore a local parking permit. Her backyard was always hidden behind a tall, weathered fence that did not quite match HOA regulations. That fence became a point of curiosity. Then, one evening while tending to the garden, the homeowner heard an unfamiliar sound drifting from Karen's yard, the faint clinking of glass jars and a humming mechanical rhythm. It was fleeting but odd enough to remember. Over the following weeks, more unusual clues emerged. Delivery trucks arriving early in the morning, large boxes carried discreetly inside, heavy-duty fans humming behind closed windows. The homeowner's frustration began to harden into resolve. If Karen wanted to play watchdog, two could play the game. Each HOA complaint became an opportunity to gather counter-evidence, documenting meticulously how the property was in compliance. Photos, time-stamped videos, and correspondence records piled up. At the same time, the homeowner began discreetly noting Karen's own possible violations, especially that fence, which was clearly higher than the HOA allowed. The breaking point came when the HOA sent a formal notice threatening legal action over alleged unapproved landscaping changes. It was a claim so absurd and costly that it threatened to deplete the homeowner's savings. That night, as Karen's porch light glowed faintly and her curtains shifted with her usual surveillance, the homeowner resolved to uncover whatever secret she was hiding. The next weekend, the homeowner took a long walk around the neighborhood under the pretense of exercising. From the sidewalk behind Karen's property, the old wooden fence loomed tall, patched in places, leaning slightly. Through a small gap in the planks, a glimmer of fluorescent light leaked out. Beyond it, faint shadows moved. It was only a glimpse, but it was enough to know something was off. Back home, the homeowner pored over the HOA rulebook late into the night, cross-checking Karen's fence measurements, construction materials, and setback requirements. Every clause pointed to violations. But the bigger question remained, what was she hiding behind it? Days passed with growing tension. Each new HOA letter felt like a countdown ticking toward financial ruin. Yet each clue about Karen's secret grew sharper. The homeowner began compiling a file not just of Karen's complaints but of her suspicious activities. They logged delivery dates, noted unusual odors drifting from her backyard, and compared them to HOA regulations. By the time the file was thick enough to rival a court case, the homeowner knew they had enough to expose Karen, but only if they could confirm the last piece of evidence. The opportunity came unexpectedly on a blustery afternoon. A gust of wind knocked part of Karen's fence panel loose, revealing a narrow sliver of her backyard. What the homeowner glimpsed in that moment would become the catalyst for everything that followed.